Okay.
Yeah,
So many questions. No, so many questions. Let's start with how we met. Do you
Hmm.
remember? Do you remember? Yeah, how we met.
Yes, yeah. We both auditioned for, I mean, we didn't meet when we auditioned because everything is like virtual now, but
That
for the Little Women scene for the University of Texas directing workshop. Um and we were cast as Amy Laurie in the scene, and we got to do it over Zoom for our director's performance workshop, which was really cool.
that's facts.
Yeah.
How did you? Okay, I go to UT, so like that's how I knew about that stuff.
Oh yeah.
How did you like find it?
It was just one of the weeks where I was perusing backstage. I mean, I wasn't on it like
Wow,
that frequently because I'm like, yeah, there's not many auditions right now, like nothing's really open yet.
facts.
But so I was just like on backstage and I saw it, and I love the new most recent adaptation of Little Women. And like if I could be in it, Amy was the role I would want to play, especially like how Florence Pugh did her take on it. So I was like, hey, this is cool. Like let me just, email them and see what happens. So yeah, that's just kind of how
Okay.
I came across it.
Um,
She posted it
where
there.
where were you at the time? Were you at school or were you New York? Where were you at?
I was at home, which is in New York. Yeah, I
Okay.
was because it was like October-ish. Yeah, I was home.
So
So
why Austin? Like, did you okay? So like, how'd you filter on backstage to find that one?
that's a good question. I have a filter that's just like kind of broad but specific to my age, where it's just like women between ages 15 and 25, which I feel like is kind of my like type that I can type into.
That,
So it just came up like under that like
okay,
breakdown filter for some reason.
heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you okay? So were you born and raised in New York?
I was.
Okay,
Yes.
let's start there. What is New York like?
Huh. So New York, because there's a couple parts to New York, so this will be an
Yeah.
interesting thing to think about. So I am not from the city. I right now, where I was born, grew up, and where I am right now, back in my hometown. I live on Eastern Long Island, like pretty far out east. I'm about 2 hours from the city.
Okay.
And I grew up in a very small town. Went to public school from like kindergarten through senior year, like same kids that you're with in kindergarten, like the same kids you're with senior year, basically, unless people move, whatever. But it was nice when I was younger. I liked it. My mom also is the school psychologist, and she was with me in my school district from like up until like I was 5 till I was in 8th grade. So it was nice. Like I knew all the teachers. It was a very close knit, like growing up. I had my tight knit group of friends, and I honestly I loved it until I got to about high school, which is when I started to get like itching to get out, because I did realize I really wanted to do acting, and I had done like a children's theater group outside of school, so with kids from different towns, and I just wanted to be like in college, or if not in college, just like somewhere else bigger, with socializing with more varied types of people than what I had. So it was a nice upbringing, like up until a certain point.
Mm,
Um, and that being said, I have been going to the city since I was very young, so I can almost like kind of include that in my like growing up, I guess. The city's amazing too. Ever since I was little, I've just loved it again because I'm consider myself a really social person, and so I love like meeting, connecting with different types of people, and the city always like had that to me. Even if I was, just going, if we were going to visit like family friends, even just like being on the streets of the city I was like, wow. So it was it felt like a different world than what I had like 2 hours away, but it wasn't like so different than where, you know, kind of my
yeah.
upbringing was. So
Did you do like any like you say you did like the children's theater? Did you do like any acting like high school and on in New York?
I did. I did like all my middle school and high school musicals. We only did musicals. We didn't do plays, which sucked because I started to really get into like or be interested in straight acting, like non-musical stuff,
Hmm.
kind of from freshman year on. Um, but the children's theater was great because it kind of like brought me out of my comfort zone, because my high school was a super small public high school. They had like no theater funding. They didn't really care about theater. So it was very small pool. It wasn't like a thing that our high school was known for. There are other
Yeah.
high schools around that were. But I did through through the children's theater that I did, we performed at a regional, like, professional theater
Mhm.
that my director would rent out, and because I got very close with her, she knew a lot of people there, I actually had the opportunity to audition for, like, an equity show there that I got cast in my sophomore year, and it was the play The Crucible by Arthur Miller. So
Yep.
that was, like, my first actual play I've ever done, um, and it really introduced me to, you know, just straight plays, and then from there, interest in acting for TV and film too. So it kinda opened, like, a whole new world to me and, like, made me interested in taking classes in that too. So, it was a really cool, like, foray into the other side of the arts that I didn't really get to experience yet up to that point.